being late. Um, and once again, StreamYard is tripping. Before I even got on this thing, started circling. So, what? But we're gonna make it. So, Linda's not here today, or at least not here now. Um, I gotta make sure I send him an invite to this thing um, to make problems anyway, because I see we're circling now. But it is what it is. We at this point, because there's no reason for us to have internet issues every week. Good morning, Stacey. Yeah, there's no reason for us to have internet issues every single week on something like this. Just it doesn't make any sense to me. Um, so maybe it's the machine that does not want the word to get out. What we're doing today they have all that's I don't know. I know because we're basically giving away money for a half-ass system. And every time we try to do something else, use another system, we tried at least once or twice. It didn't turn out right then either. And we paid for that. Uh, a couple of minutes ago. So I want to talk about that. If you haven't heard, and you have, because murders, or extrajudicial murders, that as I call them, that's taking place by something that they're not. That's well, let's say this: they did something so illegal that now Republicans are actually MAGA supporters are actually saying, "Yo, that's too far. You've gone too far." And in case you haven't heard, those of you who hadn't heard about it, it stemmed from a um, back in September. I think it was September 2nd. Um, the Navy used a drone to blow up a boat in the middle of the Caribbean. Now, that boat was actually nowhere near the United States, like none of them are. It was over 1,000 miles away from the United States. And just to give a little context, these boats that they're blowing up are in international waters. That's one. These people are transporting drugs to the United States. These are not ships. These are actually boats, like the kind of boats you get from was it Camper World or whatever they call those that place. The oh, I can't think of the name of the place, but the places where they do the uh um where they sell uh uh boats. They may be a little bit more expensive. A speedboat ships. These are boats. So these boats can't carry enough gas on them and drugs to go 1,000 miles. They the most go a couple hundred miles. At the most, far go. They can't. They're not ocean going vessels. So the fact that the Trump administration is saying these people are transporting fentanyl to the United States and it's killing people is a lie because they're not. They're not even close to the United States. But getting back to September 7th, uh, um, and they blew up the boat. Somehow there were 2 survivors on it. Two people who were on it. Maybe been more. There was 2 of them that survived, and they were clinging to the boat in the ocean, in the Caribbean Sea. Somebody in part of the defense, would it be that drunk ass Pete Seth, or the admiral underneath him who's in charge of special weapons? Former Navy is following somebody along the line chain command decided to do. That is illegal. And when I say illegal, that is strictly. First of all, it's already illegal that you're even blowing up somebody and blowing up boats in international waters. And the fact that you're claiming that they're terrorists, narco terrorists, so that gives you the right to do it. That's not, did you, and without showing any proof. None of this is legal. It's not legal at all. But the fact that now you have 2 men clinging to a boat trying to survive, and I guess they were. I heard yesterday that the men, before they sent the second missile to kill them, they were pleading for help. They knew what was going on. They knew what happened, so they knew there was a drone up there somewhere. They're pleading for help, waiting for help, and all that, and then they send another missile and kill those men. That's straight murder, y'all. Not only is that against international law, that's against U.S. law. And the law that in place is you can't. There's someone to offer aid. That is U.S. Navy policy. That is world policy into that. So we sitting here talking about nations and all people who sponsor terrorists and all this around. We sit here killing people just because Pete Hegseth wants another notch in his belt. Now, whether or not he gave the actual order to say, go ahead and kill them, because let's get real. He said he was watching this in real time. In other words, he was looking at the feed of this while it was happening. Now, whether or not he gave that order, at this point, it really doesn't make a difference. Because he told them before, I told them, kill them all. They've said that. That's been documented. He said, I could kill them all. So whether or not he actually told the commander, that admiral, to kill those 2 specific men doesn't make a difference. Because your previous orders were to kill them all. Whether you were joking or not, and we know you weren't joking because the last time you met, when you met with all the military commanders, the admirals, the generals, and all of that, you told them to stop. Basically, you told them to stop being punks. You told them to kill them all. So now you can't go back and say, oh, that's not what I meant. That's what you meant. You got your chest out, you huffing and puffing, you trying to be the big dog on the yard. Now when somebody starts questioning, like, yo, you done went too far, dude. Way too far. Now you want to come back and say, no, that's not what I meant. No, dude, that's what you said, and that's what you meant. You said it with your full chest. You brought it from the diaphragm up because you wanted to prove that you had the biggest cojones on the block. Now, and the reason why I said that the reason why they have that in place, because just as happened to Americans, we don't want them getting killed like that. We don't want them getting killed. Like that. They're stranded out in the ocean. We don't want the Venezuelan Navy. It was 45 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. The fact that they sent a second missile shows that they were trying to kill him. But that's all of that stuff is going to come back on us. And I've said this before. The reason why Trump and his cronies, his thugs, his criminals that follow him are doing this is because they want Venezuelan oil. That's it. They want Venezuelan oil. He's talking about invading Venezuela to get narco terrorists. So you want to invade another country to stop their drugs without their permission? And drugs are coming into the United States. Who the hell would transport drugs all the way from Venezuela to the United States? Why would they do that? There's not enough profit for that. It's not enough. Now they may be going to other countries, but they damn sure ain't coming here. They're not. But as I said, they're doing this because they want that Venezuelan oil. End of story. That's it. Got nothing to do with drugs. They don't give a damn about drugs. They really don't. Because if they really want to stop drugs in the United States, guess what? All they have to do, all this energy they putting in trying to deport people, put that same energy in going into drug spots. Put that exact same energy in investigating drug dealers and people who we know are selling drugs. Put that same energy in that. Drugs will be wiped out in a week. In a week, they could do that. Because every cop at any damn sense can tell you every place in their community that sells drugs. They can ride down the street. Yeah, that's a trap out there. That's another place right there. Oh, they sell weed right there. This right there. We can all tell you that. When I was a cop, I can tell you that where they were selling drugs. I don't care how stealthy they thought they were. I can tell you. And if I didn't know, the people who were using drugs in the neighborhood would tell me. Oh yeah, we're from over there. So if we really want to stop the flow of drugs in this country, stop people from using drugs, we could do it in a heartbeat. It would take a week. All the energy that they're putting into stopping, to trying to get people and arrest people, American citizens, people here legally and all that, do all that. All the energy to do that. If they want to stop drugs, they do it in a week. Use that same drugs. But they don't want to do that. They want Venezuelan oil. That's what they want. So, and I'll say this, Marion, you're right. You are going to enforce it. I'm going to tell you this. Excuse me. Trump is not going to be in office forever. He's not going to be in office forever. So these people who are doing this, these commanders who are calling out strikes, Pete Hegseth, there's no court in the world. There's no president in the way of him when Trump is gone. Now, Congress should impeach him at this moment. He's committing impeachable offenses. And just in case y'all don't remember, I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. 3 criteria for impeachment in this country: treason, bribery, and high crimes and misdemeanors. And just in case some of y'all knew and don't know what I've said it before, but you don't know what high crimes and misdemeanors, high crimes and misdemeanors is any damn thing Congress wants it to mean. Anything it wants it to. So murder is definitely on that list. Killing somebody in international waters is definitely on the list of things that impeach him on. And even if the punk ass Republicans in the House don't want to try to impeach him, don't want to have a trial and all that stuff, the judicial system will get him afterwards. And Yeah, the system will get them afterwards, and the Supreme Court will need them. They won't be able to save them. I don't care what they say. You might think that they're gonna save them now. Supreme Court's not gonna save them. They don't give a shit about them. So these commanders that are doing this, and this also goes back to when those senators and representatives of people who said, "Hey, if you're in the military, you have the uh, obligation to disobey illegal orders." That is something that I found out when I went into the military in December of 1987. That's one of the first things they told us. Hey, somebody give you an illegal order, you have to you better not mess with that. You better let it go. Take the punishment from them, but it's better than going to prison. Because I'm telling you, if it's illegal and it comes out, you will go to prison. And nobody's gonna protect you. That whole just follow orders, that will not fly. You will go to prison for that. And these commanders, they are going to go to prison for this. Because they have violated was it the UMCJ, Uniform Military Code of Justice. That's one of the top things right there. You cannot kill an innocent person. You can't kill somebody who's in distress. You can't do that. Trump ain't now, man. All that bullshit about Trump pardoning them. Trump ain't gonna be in office. He's not going to be in office. There's no statute of limitations on murder, man. There's none. Trump is only going to be in office for another 3 years. There's no statute of limitations on this variant. So they're going to get them. They're going to get them. If you look at was Admiral Halsey, and I said this the other day, I said this had to be the most brilliant military move since Sherman burned Atlanta. That brother said, "Do this. I'm out." So those murders that were taking place when they were using drones to blow up those boats, that was under his command. He was in charge of the Southern Command, which is the South America and the Caribbean. That's under him. And he do this. I ain't got nothing to do with this. I got 30-something years, 40 years in. I don't need this. I am not going to risk my freedom, my pension, just so Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth can get another notch in their belt, just so they can puff out their chest. He said, "Y'all can kiss my entire black ass." And I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. There's no way in hell I'm going to risk my freedom because you want to act like you the big dog. I'm not going to do it. So he walked away. He's like, "Hey, I relinquished my command. I'm going to retire. I get full benefits, my full pension, and then I'm going to turn around. I'm going to write a book, and then I'm going to be a commentator on one of these networks. I'm going to get paid. And plus, I'm going to get my VA benefits because I failed about 20 years ago and hurt my damn. I'm going to get 100%. My stuff already lined up. So, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm Gucci. I'm good. See y'all later. Suckers can stay here and do that. But out. That was a great move. That man said, "I am not." Told us the other admirals, "Listen, y'all might not want to do this. Don't do this. Don't be caught this. It's not going to end well for you." But they didn't listen. That admiral that went ahead and ordered all this stuff, he didn't listen. He's caught up in it. And guess who? Guess who on this? That he was like, I didn't tell him to do it. That's on him. He had to do it. And it's also firing all the inspector generals in the military. A JAG officer is hold on one second, trying to get it in. Okay. What is Judge General? The military lawyers. One of these he said he came in, he fired all the top judges. I'm not mistaken. I know they prosecute people in the military. They do that. I know that part. They do. But also, I think they also give constitutional advice. But I think the JAG officers also give constitutional advisement to military. You don't want to do that. That's illegal. Did you hear the last thing I said, Leonard?
You are going in and out. So I'm hearing you breaking up. You're hearing you, but you're breaking up. So we're not catching all of your full sentences. Am I coming in clearly? Can you hear me clearly?
Okay. The things they'll say. What I was saying was, yeah, you're coming in now. One of the things what I was talking about was this: the JAG officers. First thing that Pissy Pete did when he became the head of the DOD, chairman of DOD. I mean, not chairman, Secretary of Defense. One of the first things he did was fire the JAG officers, and I was explaining that JAG officers are the lawyers. They do prosecutions and all that stuff of military members. Also, I think they may be the ones who give commanders constitutional advice of, okay, what is legal, what's not legal, cannot, blah blah blah. They're the ones that do it. The Department of Defense has lawyers that will tell commanders what's legal and what's not legal, even if they're not JAG. Yeah, I know, Rob.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
Is it coming through better on your phone?
Getting back to what I was these lawyers, one of the reasons, and they also have fired inspector generals. Huh?
Says, will it come through better?
It looks like it's clear right now.
Okay. It is. It's going back and forth.
It looks like it's clear now.
Okay. Yeah, it is clear right now.
I can usually tell. Oh, let me. Okay. Well, let's roll with it right quick. What was I saying? Oh, so these JAG officers, those are the people who go find out, okay, if somebody did something wrong. That was like, geez. When he fired all of them, he did that so they could do whatever they wanted to and not worry about somebody saying you can't do that, or somebody telling them that and coming back afterwards and said, hey, what you did was wrong. We need to punish you for that. Because that the signal gate thing that they have, it's funny how they always call everything gate when there's a scandal. But that signal gate thing he had, which was what's his name? Hegseth sending classified information over signal. an app on his phone, which you can't use now. When I was in the military, we didn't have cell phones, so that wasn't an issue. But I do know that there were certain things you can't talk. Man, this thing is messing up my points.
I'm gonna chime in right quick while we try to fix your signal. God damn it, let me listen to this. I agree with Marion.
Man, I don't know what the deal is with this, and it ain't my.
I agree with Marion wholeheartedly. I saw Hannah Nicole Jones on a video the other day talking to April. Roz, I forgot her name. April, the lady used to be the White House correspondent. She was doing a talk with April and Don Lemon, and I think I love Hannah Nicole because I just think she don't pull punches. Like, she doesn't let African Americans, to our community, get lulled into some April Ryan, lulled in some false sense of security. You know, she puts it right in front of your face about what's happening, and so I agree with Marion on this one. Donald Trump hasn't shown any willingness to do anything that's legal. He don't care because it comes back to the same thing we always keep saying: who's going to check me, boo? And for our community, which is where the position always comes, how does this affect our community? Because I have a firm belief what Hannah Nicole said the other day, which is with 14% of the population, 47 million of us, 34 million registered. We're checkmated as far as being able to do anything on our own in this country. You have to have allies. And we need to have that clear conversation. Like, it needs to be blunt. And so you're going to have allies to make Donald Trump stop doing what he's doing. You're going to have to change your tactics to say, if we're going to be here, and we're going to be here permanently. As my dad told me before he died, about 10 years before he died, I wouldn't risk my life for this country in the Korean War. I'm not going no goddamn where. This is my home. Hannah also said the podcast that she didn't have any answers. She got answers. People just don't want to fucking listen to them. I'm sick of people telling me they don't have answers. We got answers. We need to stop. We got answers. Mary, we know we got answers. We know that we have to figure out a way to get young black males 21 to 40 to vote where we want them to vote. That's just the truth. Let's stop bullshit one another. The question is, what are we willing to do to go and do it? How are you willing to engage in it? We keep having this. Me and Ken have had these vehement arguments about language. And I sit there and tell him, man, those kids use nigger like it's goddamn chewing gum. That horse is gone. You might not like it, but that horse is gone. I'm in the truck and I'm around them every day. I just sent 3 of them off today. There's a podcast on right now called Jam's Podcast with 4 young, super intelligent brothers that y'all ought to support. They use that word like they're saying I. It is a part of their vernacular. So your offensiveness is done. That's nothing if you can't get in there and talk the language to them to get them to trust you so they will go vote. That's just the case. It's just bullshit. Now, if you're saying that you are not willing to do it, then okay, then you need to move to the side. Because we go nowhere if they don't vote. Period. The numbers do not help you. Period. So let's stop having this bullshit conversation about we don't have the answer. We know we have the answer. People our age, we know we have to go out and engage them. Kenneth engages them every day. And I get it. He's trying to, because he has an everyday, 8-hour day with them every day. As a friend of mine told him, it's more than mentorship. It's trying to get them to mirror who we are. We need to focus on that group. We had 21% of the registered voters in Georgia vote in the last election. of black voters out of 2.4 million. Now, we either can sit here and keep having these bullshit conversations and not get on the ground and being so goddamn outraged by the groups and frats and all the stuff that older people that want to be outraged about, and you can keep losing, or you can say, how do I engage these people where they trust me and listen to me? I just had this conversation with one of my guys today, 26, just had this conversation and just told him, every day I tell you, you have the potential. Brooke met him, Rosalind. Every day I tell you, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're handsome, you got leadership potential, but you got to have the will. And he literally kind of smiled and said, Miss Leonard, no one showed me how. That's the conversation you need to be had. Because he was trusting enough to be vulnerable for me to say, cool, let me show you. But you got to be willing to listen. Now, if they don't have the same mindset, but I will argue that that group, that range gets literally turned off when you come and try to police their language. They stop listening to you. So the question is, are you going to try to police the language? Do I need to get them involved so they will come and vote and they will listen to me to understand that this is their future and our future if we're over 50, because it's affecting us. It's affecting us from jobs with black women in the federal government. It's affecting us with Social Security. It's affecting us for our retirement. It's affecting all of us. So how do we get them engaged? I give Kenneth a pass on it because I know Kenneth's in the classroom every day. He's dealing with them every day. He and I don't necessarily agree about that word, and I get it, but I'll tell him, yeah, you're talking to them every day. I literally have one shot sometimes to talk to them, particularly the guys I see on the basketball court and the guys that say OG, and we're going to have to get them engaged. And again, if you really, really want to understand their mentality, you can listen to Deontay Kyle's podcast, which is great. And you can listen to, it's called the Jams podcast, and it's 4 young dudes, they're probably 21 to 22, and they just sit here and they talk about all this stuff in their own language. Not let's say language I want to use all the time. I can go back and forth. So when you say we don't have any answers, it comes back to the same thing we've been talking about every day. Me, Kenneth, Marion, and everybody else in the world. We got to get people to vote. How do we do that? We got to get them to understand that they have to vote. Because if we aren't at, what do we say, Kenneth? If we aren't at 50%, 65%, we are our own oppressors. If we don't have somebody, whether me and Kenneth disagree on this too, because me and Marion and Kenneth disagree on this too, you sometimes have to have somebody that can move the needle that can get people to vote.
Okay, listen. Now, I've been listening to what you're saying, and I don't see how calling each other a nigga is gonna make somebody vote.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
Explain to me how calling somebody a nigga is gonna make them vote.
I said that you have to understand.
I know what I'm saying. Well, the point you said, if you can't speak their language. Hold on. Understand? Listen. Let me explain what I'm saying.
I'm listening.
You said if you can't speak their language. I agree with that. Agree with that. But calling each other nigga doesn't have to be the language you use. They can get the same message, say the exact same thing without calling each other a nigga, without saying nigga. They can do that.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Wait.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Talking about policing their language. If somebody's telling you something that's going to benefit you today, tomorrow, and the future, and because they say, "Hey, man, look yourself a nigga," and you too fucking ignorant to listen.
Whoa.
Nobody. Hold up. Stop. What we're telling them. We're telling them is that.
Wait. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. You got to stop.
Think about
You don't went off on a
Your
roll, and that's not what I'm saying.
future.
It's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. So stop for a second. What I'm saying is I don't have the right, nor do I have any control. I don't over what they have decide to make.
You
their
saying
language.
Speak their language? Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you. Now listen. I said that I don't have the right, and I said you can go on this Jams podcast. I think that they are a classic example of what I'm talking about. 4 college-educated dudes, obviously very, very smart dudes. Obviously very smart. If you're going to watch, you can't take away their intelligence. Obviously, guys who do their research. They don't just talk trash. They sit on there and they come up with numbers. Here's the research. I don't necessarily agree with them using words either, but they are not talking to me. They are talking amongst each other. And what we're trying to do is to figure out how do we get that group
to
go.
The thing is this.
It ain't no thing is. You being arrogant. You want to impose your will on everything. I'm telling you, I can't, and neither can you.
Let me say something.
Go ahead.
Say something. No, I'm not trying to impose a will. Let me say something.
Go for it.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying.
Go for it.
We need to change our mindset, our culture. And this is something that I say about my school, about our school, the one we graduated from. The culture needs to be changed. It doesn't make a difference if you still out here espousing, saying ignorant shit. The culture is not going to change. Our culture changed. Black American culture changed when we start allowing words to become the norm instead of a rare thing. When nigga became the thing that we said every other sentence, when it was you, when we were young, it was like, okay, you know, hey, we said it. We all said it. We was like, whatever. It wasn't a big deal. Or when you said it with emphasis. Now they say it constantly. They can't stop saying it. And when you try to explain to them what the word means, and it doesn't make a difference if you think it changed, it still means the same. As I tell my students all the time, niggas don't go to school. Niggas are still in bed. Niggas standing there still sleeping in a twin bed at 35 years old. That's what black people, we get up, we go to school, we go to work, we do what's necessary to survive.
Let me say this.
That's the difference between a nigga and somebody black.
Okay, let me say this.
And black people take care of their families and do what they're supposed to do.
Stop right there. Just stop. Stop that point for 1 second. Let me say this.
Why I need to stop?
First, I'm about to tell you. I just gave you. Wait. Let me. Hey, you got to let me answer the question.
Stacey, right quick.
No. I don't want
the context of you using it makes them ignorant.
I don't
because
want
they
you
don't want to move beyond that.
I don't want you to lose that point. I don't want you to lose that point. I want to stick at that point. I think that's a valid point, but there is a nuance to that point. Let me tell you what it is. This is why I keep using that podcast. This is why I encourage you to go look at that podcast. Your belief system. Yes, there's a cultural shift. There needs to be a cultural shift. There is a cultural issue. I agree with that. But to sit there and say, and this is why I tell you to go watch it. This is why I encourage all of y'all to go watch it. And we don't push podcasts on the show. I encourage you to watch Deontay Kyle. I encourage you to watch the Jams podcast. Because everything you said does not apply to these guys. Those guys get up and go to work. Those guys do their research. Deontay Kyle gets up and goes to work. He does his research, does it very, very well. But you would be turned off by his podcast because he uses that word that you don't agree with. And it does not make him that definition you just said. That Chris Rock definition does not normally apply to all those people. And at the end of the game, the question you should have, The question you should have for yourself about our culture is, can I change the culture by the midterms of 2026? What I'm saying to you is, no, you can't. But what you better do is figure out a way to engage those guys, again, on the Jams podcast, guys like that. Guys who I promise you, I know you as an alpha and an educated man, you're going to go, man, I hate that they use that word, but those are some intelligent dudes. And they refer to each other, but they are really intelligent. They are impressive. Deontay Kyle's an impressive dude.
Okay.
But wait, Kenneth, can you at least acknowledge that?
Okay.
Can you at least acknowledge?
You have to meet them where they are.
Okay. Right. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
You keep saying, Stacey said, meet them where they are. And that's how I teach. I meet them where they are. That's not a problem. That is not a problem. But you don't need to be a nigga to meet them where they are. That's not the only word in the English language that can describe us.
They don't
meeting them where they are. You don't have to use a demeaning word to meet them where they are. Because I can say the exact thing. Brother, you know what? Hey, check this out. Check this out. Check this out right here. Blah, 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 blah. And I did not use the word nigga. Now you think they're going to disregard what I say because I didn't say the word nigga?
No, that's not what we're saying.
Come on, man.
That's not what we're saying,
That's
Kenneth.
a mindset.
That's not what
we're saying. You're saying.
No, that's not.
You said, hold up.
No,
you said, use the language that they use the language.
What I'm telling you,
you just said use the language.
What I'm telling you is that's your definition for them. They don't use that definition for themselves. I hear what you said.
Okay, what I'm saying is,
not what I
said. You said the language that they use to get their attention.
No. I said you're going to have to be comfortable with the language they use. Your definition of that word is not their definition of themselves. You do understand that, right? If you go on their show,
well, some of them think that's how they think. That's how they think. I see this every day. I'm not looking at this outside. I'm not looking at this from the outside. I'm looking at this from somebody that's in a classroom where they just can't stop calling themselves that. They can't stop it.
Kenneth, what I'm telling you,
they can't stop it. And when you tell them why, when you explain to them why do you call yourself that,
you have to meet them
and tell them the history of it,
Kenneth,
and tell them the real history of it and why it's such a vile word. When you tell them that,
you can tell them all of that, but your question should be.
You don't think when I teach, and I don't think I'm a good teacher. I really and truly don't. I don't care what nobody says. I really don't believe that I'm a good teacher, but I'm what my students need. I'm the type of teacher my students need. I may not get you to pass all the standardized tests, but I am going to get you to pass life. And that's what I'm trying to teach them about life. The importance of voting. Now, if somebody is not telling because somebody, they look for a reason not to vote instead of all these reasons why you should vote. All the stuff going on, everything that's going on in this country, that's affecting them personally right now, every day, all day, is a result of us not voting, period. I don't give a damn what all this other bullshit that people try to throw in there. I had a discussion with somebody yesterday, and she said that when she knew some people who voted for Trump and they voted for him because of interest rates. The fuck you talking about some interest rates? I'm like, hold on. What does interest rates have to do with people? And she said, well, they can't afford to buy a house because interest rates were high. That's a middle class problem. That's a middle class problem right there. The average person who's working class and poor, they just trying to make rent. They ain't trying to buy no house. They would love to have a house. That's on their bucket list, but that's not their day-to-day worry. That is a middle class problem. I can't buy a house because interest rates are high. The average working class person, poor person, doesn't have a credit card, so they don't give a damn about interest rates. They got a debit card or cash card. That's what they're worried about. And those were the people who didn't vote.
So
they didn't vote. And I even said they didn't vote for Kamala Harris because she was a woman. Period. A black woman. Period. Point blank. End of story. I don't give a damn what nobody else say, and everybody on who's listening to us knows this shit. It does not make a difference what she said.
Bro,
because she said she would give black men what $15,000, $20,000 to start a business, and they still didn't support her.
Bro, you're missing the point, bro.
For a reason not to support her, so it didn't make a difference what she said, and they didn't vote because they threshold is in there now. No, I'm not missing the point. The point is this: all this bitching about ain't nobody talking to young black men. It's some bullshit. It's not bullshit. They ain't fucking listening.
Bro, that's not what I said.
Fucking listening.
So okay. So let's do this. Let's take you at 1% face value. They are not listening. We agree with we can agree they're not listening, right? They're not listening, right? But we need them, right? You agree with that? We need them, right? They're not listening, but we need them. Was that a fair statement? Because I want to read something.
They need themselves. They need to step up for themselves.
No. I cannot. You cannot. Rosalind, Stacey cannot. You cannot afford to not figure out how to get them to listen. And that's the point I'm trying to make. You can't, your future, my future.
But see, this is
stop, bro.
You keep trying to say how we gonna get them to listen.
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
Bro, you gotta be willing to listen, bro. You gotta be willing to listen. Just can't be what you want to say. You gotta be willing to listen. Hear me out. I cannot afford them to not get them to listen. We're in the same boat. So what I'm talking about is what ideas in this unbelievable tough situation, because I don't want to go off on a tangent. I believe you have an effect. And I believe you have an effect because you're there for them 8 hours and you keep repeating it. But most of us don't have the 8 hours. So how do we get them to listen and trust us again? Because if you want to be honest, me, you, and Don, you can't blame Rosalind. You can't blame Marion. We're responsible for that word. We're responsible for making that word popular. We're responsible for letting it come into the culture. Our generation in college started that bullshit. We did. We didn't push back. We bounced around singing to the song "Bitch" by Too Short. We walked around singing NAA niggas with attitude. We're the ones that didn't push back and say, "Hey, bro, no, we're not gonna let y'all play down that radio station. We will shut you down." We're the one that damn dog see Dolores Tucker. We're the one that didn't push back on Suge Knight and say, "No, bro, we're not about to have that. We will kill you if you think you're gonna change our culture like that." That horse is gone. So now the question is, I agree with what you say. I shouldn't have to, but I am going to have to, because they are not. And when you engage them, one of the things I had to learn as I was engaging them, and I took your tack, because you and I are more alike than we are differently. And I'm like, bro, please, can you use another word? I know you just use that word like Skittles, and it's not just that word. It is a whole, and I think Stacey's saying that it is a whole different way of having a conversation with them. And how do you gain that trust so that they can let it down and you can say, "Let me tell you why I think this is affecting you. And I need you to go register, and I need to pick you up, and I need to do these things." I agree. You and I don't disagree about the ugliness of the word. We don't. But our definition is no longer that definition. And again, I invite all of you. Let me say this last thing. Let me say this one more thing. I'm gonna let you talk. I invite all of you all. If you don't believe me, watch Deontay Kyle on YouTube from Atlanta. Smart dude, super smart. Used to drive a truck. Super popular podcast right now, all over the place. And it's a podcast called Jams for kids. They can't be no older than 24. Can't be. And I sit there and go to myself as an older man, how I see it is not how they see it. That definition for me is not their definition. Now, what do I need to do to convince them and to get them to go and talk to their generation that obviously are watching them when you got 500 people, your subscription, to get
So
their guys to vote.
you think if they took that word out, nobody would listen to them? But hold up, Leonard. Let's get back to something. Let me say something. Can I talk now? Do I have your permission?
You been talking now. Look, I wasn't on here for 30 minutes.
Do I have your permission to talk?
Go ahead.
You kept telling me, hold on. Can I talk now?
You got the floor.
Okay. Listen. Thank you very much. How mighty white of you. Anyway.
Sometimes you gotta be white. Sometimes white is right.
Changing the these young men. My thinking behind all of this is this. You said they're having an intelligent conversation. They're talking the real talk. They're saying the words in vernacular that the younger generation understands, and they're speaking the truth and all of that. Right. You're saying that, right? That's what they do, right? Are you listening?
I'm listening.
Is that a yes or no? I need a response.
Wait,
just call and response.
Repeat the question again.
Okay. All right. So I said, you're saying that these young men, they're having an intelligent conversation. They're just talking, using a language that we may find uncomfortable, whatever. They're using the N-word, all that stuff. And the question is, with all of that, are they reaching anybody?
Are they?
Because
yes.
This is my thing. This is my thing. You and I, we come on here every week, and we have. Oh, can I finish what I'm point? I heard what you said. You and I come on here every week, and we throw out a whole lot of information. And for the most part, our audience is around our age, 50s, 60s. Marion is up there like 155 or something like that. But we have our age is middle age and above. That's our. I had to throw that out there. I had to throw that shade out because he's been talking smack to me, so I had to get one in. But our audience is made up of people middle age and above. You and I talk, and we talk about different things. Our audience is very well versed in what we're talking about. We may throw out something every once in a while that they've never heard before, or they weren't sure about, or whatever. But for the most part, we have a well-informed, well-intelligent audience. I can guarantee you those young men have the exact same audience. Not the exact same type of audience. Let's say not age group, demographic-wise, but their audience people who have some semblance of what's going on in the world and have a curiosity about what's going on in the world. The problem is the same problem you and I have, they have. What about the rest of them? Because I pretty much guarantee those people who listen to them, listen to their podcast, are already voting. They may not know specifically every issue, and these young men are informing them about different issues, but they're already focused. They're already locked in. Like our audience, already focused, already locked in. They know what they're supposed to do. That's why they listen to that podcast. They have a curiosity about stuff. That's why they listen to that podcast. The ones who we need to reach ain't listen to that damn podcast. They ain't listen to nobody's podcast. They get their news from Instagram. 1 minute of some bullshit. That's where they get their news from. So on their algorithm, their news feed, if nothing but ignorance come through, that's all they're going to see is ignorance. It doesn't make a difference how much what we're doing on the podcast. At some point, these people have to have their own curiosity about life and want a better life for themselves and their families. And they got to figure out, what do we need to do in order to do that? Because the information is there. As I tell my students all the time, you have access to more information at this point in your life, and this little thing right here, than I ever had when growing up. Ever had. Because I had World, what was it? Not Britannica, but it was World something encyclopedias. That was my source of information, or going to the library. So I asked them, how is it I know more about, when I was your age, I knew more about the world than you do today. You have access to more information. How is that? Because they don't have a curiosity about it. Now, the question is, how do we get them to have a curiosity about it? How do we get them to understand that you voting is what's going to make your life better? Because it damn sure you're not voting did not make your life better. It made it worse. So talking to people one at a time. Each individual, each one teach one is a start.
Can I talk?
I'm still talking.
Yeah. I need to address your point. You keep going different points. I can't write all of them down. Let me just address two of the points.
Because you were talking for 20 minutes. You were talking for 20 minutes, and you kept going over point after point after point. So I'm trying. I'm taking my Ginsu knife and just doing this to all your points. Look, my bottom line is this: they have to have people have to word book. That's what it was, Don. This generation, all generations in our community, they have to have a curiosity about the world and what it's going to take to change the world. How to make my personal life better legally, along with everybody else in my family. How can I do that?
Can I respond?
And one way is voting. That's the start. Go ahead, sir.
First, I want to say thanks, Chester, for coming on the show. And I want to read. And I don't know if everybody can see it. I want you to see what Chester wrote. And I want to say to him, first of all, I'm out there with these guys. I get what you're saying, but I'm gonna call everybody, all the men on this thing. We got to call ourselves on this shit. A lot of those dudes don't see what we're doing as manhood. A lot of those dudes, and I'm gonna do something that I'm gonna bring up something that Stacey asked us to talk about, because I think it's very relevant to what we're talking about. Very relevant. A lot of those dudes, because you are not willing as a group to go in and say, this behavior is not going to be accepted under any circumstances, and we're willing to lose our lives for it. It's just a fact. They do what they can get away with. They smoke that weed in the classroom because there's not enough men going up to that school with children to say, hey, man, we're not about to tolerate this. And your daddy come up here, he can get it too. But I promise you're not going to be smoking weed in the bathrooms. And it is what it is. And the principals have to get behind us, because we're not going to stop. If they're not going to stop, we're not going to stop. But we make the rules of what goes on in our community. We stop doing that. Bill Daniels and his family didn't let that stuff happen. My daddy and his community didn't let that stuff happen because there were rules of engagement. We stopped that. And we have to accept that we have changed and let rap music become the litmus test for masculinity in the neighborhood, instead of saying, no, fuck all that. We get it. You got to make your money, but it's just entertainment. You aren't going to make this a lifestyle in our neighborhoods. You aren't going to be able to play this song. You can play it at night after 1. We did that because we weren't engaged. Now we're dealing with that problem. Because I know that, because I got to deal with it on the truck. I had to deal with somebody today that came to smoke weed before they came to work. And we had to have a conversation. It had to be like, bro, we're not doing that. I've always been there for you, but this is what we're not going to do. That's number one. Number two, no, we don't have the same reach. And this is what Stacey's trying to tell you. No, I don't have the same reach as Jams. No, we don't have the same reach as Keontae Kyle, because Keontae Kyle got about 360 something subscribers, and he's reaching about 500 per pop on his podcast. Jams has about 260 something thousand subscribers. And no, they are not. They are guys that they're speaking to. And don't tell me podcasts don't have an effect, because Joe Rogan had an effect on the damn election. That bro spear had an effect with all that bullshit they're pumping out. That's just the truth. There's too much data that says that now. Too much data. Too much data. I want to say this about when I talk about what Chester said. Stacey asked us to do a show, and I still think we need to do it. I just couldn't do it today. About Stacey, Iman Jabril. And I'm telling you, this is a true story because I got it from first-hand accounts. If you go back and read his story, they say that they connect him to like 14 murders. I can tell you that's probably true. I can tell you that's probably true. And most of those people who got murdered were drug dealers, because I know one who was in the middle of that, who told me the story. And what they decided to do in the West End neighborhood is they said, here are the rules for engagement. Here are the rules, whether you like it or not. On these 6 blocks, there will be no drug dealing and no prostitution. And if you make the decision that you're going to go against what we said because we're trying to create a safe space, Lord help you. Christian men just haven't been willing to do that. I don't want to go to jail. I get it. I don't want to get in trouble. I get it. But if I can see it, what makes you think that other groups can't see it? You want to, some of these young guys don't have respect for us because they don't see manhood in us because they think we've taken so much. They don't even understand it. But those 4 guys and that one guy's trying to get them to understand it. They trying to get them to vote. They talk to them about voting. They know who they're talking to because they get on and go, man, what the hell are you doing not voting? What are you talking about? They just use that word. And I'm not talking about that word. I'm talking about a style of communicating. And how do we get them engaged? I just came from, and I'm going to let this go. This last thing I'm going to say. I just came from a meeting that I was asked to come to with a bunch of clergy, older clergy. And we had Shirley Franklin there who set it up, Mayor Bill Campbell, and one of my advisors over here who calls me all the time. And I'm sitting there thinking, these guys don't even listen to every last one of your churches is dwindling in membership. And most of it is because you can't get young Black men to come to church. They don't believe you. And until you start dealing with that, you have no credibility with them, we're going to stay in this state. They don't believe me. And Rosalind just talked about this last time I was up there. I'm tired of the young men in the neighborhood thinking they can do stuff because no one has sat down and said, hey, bro, this is not going to be tolerated. And when you gain their respect, then you'll gain their trust. Then you can talk to them. Because they weren't walking. I just talked to one the other day as I was talking to them. They know Rollo in my neighborhood more than they know my mayor. And I was just talking to Rollo with his bodyguard who had an AK-47 sitting there right there as I'm talking to him. But I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. So I engage with him. I talk to him. Because he has some more influence a lot of times than I do over here. If you are so wedded to the fact that I'm not going to meet them where they are, like Stacey says, and you know you need them to vote, we all just got them call it checkmate right now. You know, we ought to just call it checkmate right now. We're not in a position where it's weak, and we just not. We got a guy that has done more damage in 9 months to our community than anybody's done in 50 years. And if we don't get people to vote, and if we coming up on 2026, if we don't get people to vote at what Roland said, a 70% clip, and willing to get down the dirt to do it, we ain't seen a goddamn thing yet. Because Mayor Campbell literally said, like I could tell you as a former mayor, this is an existential threat. And existential means that your life will, as you know it, will no longer be that. How bad do you want it? It's at 11:08, y'all. Ken, you got it. 11:08.
Hold on. First of all, that's what I'm saying. We need to stop sugarcoating it and just tell them, listen, you think things are bad now. It's going to get worse if we don't vote. And people are starting to see, because like you said, he's done more damage in this year than any other president's ever done since we got here in 1619. To roll back stuff that we've had. He's destroying not only our community, but trying to destroy. Oh, one other thing before I leave. That's something I meant to talk about earlier. So I know y'all saw that when Trump the other day was talking about the Somali community in Minnesota, called them garbage, said they're thieves, they stole $80 billion, blah, 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 all this crazy stuff they were saying. So right after that, the next day, a newscaster went to Minnesota and talked to a guy that's the head of some Somalian organization. And he was talking about how they supported Trump because they thought, because he was, we're all about family and we're all about reducing crime and doing this, and the economy was bad, and this and that, and all this type of stuff he was saying. And I was like, you a goddamn idiot. Because when was that not like he made it seem like Democrats were not trying to stop crime. That they never tried to stop crime. Like crime rate going down, but he thought, oh, Trump is going to down crime. Trump is going to do this. Trump is going to do that. He's going to help our community, blah, 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 all this stuff. And now he's sitting back. He's calling your people, your community, specifically your community in Minnesota. He said the Somali community in Minnesota. He didn't say Somali community in Georgia or in D.C. He said in Minnesota. That's your dumb ass. He called y'all garbage. And this man sitting there like, I can't believe he said that about us. My 5 children are garbage. You dumb motherfucker. He was talking about you to begin with. When he said shithole countries, he was talking about Somalia. But once again, you got black immigrants come over to this country thinking they're better than those of us who have been here for centuries. Like we don't know what the hell we doing. Like we ain't done nothing here. We just a bunch of fucking idiots. Now his punk ass is getting what he deserves. Now they're sending ICE to go get them. And you voted for this shit. And now you want to sit back and bitch about it. That's your goddamn fault. Your dumb ass did that. Now, once again, like poor white people, he made you look stupid. And now you're going to come back to the black community for help. Fuck you. You did this shit. I have no respect for him and his followers at all. None. Because they did this bullshit. They supported this bullshit. And now when the bullshit come back and slap him in the face, now they want to sit back and cry about it. But this is what you wanted. You thought he was going to come after the other people. The Mexicans, the Venezuelans, the South Americans.
I got to go. But before I go, my Morehouse brother, John, who I have a lot of respect for, just put up something and I want to address it. And I do understand what he's saying. And I think he agrees with you. But this is what I would say to him. Go over to our campus during the day. Because I talk to the young Morehouse brothers because I'm so close to the campus. I go into Walmart. I hear them talking. And John, they shop at our Walmart. That's the AUC Walmart. So I shop in that Walmart. I've approached them when they have Morehouse shirts, and I approach them all the time. I hear their conversations, and I hear what you're saying. But even at our school, that language, that word, they don't define that word the way we do. Now, do I think we should correct them and say, hey, let me tell you why? And they are educated brothers. All I'm saying is for 2026, we need to figure out how, like Kenneth said, how, and I'm searching for answers to how to engage them to vote from January until next November. And who is that person that can engage them to vote at a clip that is going to save us, because no one's going to save us but us. And they are a big part of that saving. And they see when the school doesn't get this. But go ahead and say it. Have the last word. I got to get out of here. Have the last word. I just want to address what John said, because John doesn't come on the show that much.
First thing, we on college campuses, black people, black males and black females, they should be engaging with each other about getting the vote, period. That should be something across the board. They should be doing that. It should not be a question of, damn, Linda, what happened? It should not be a question of somebody has to tell you this. That's something that you should be talking to each other about. They should have forums about that all the time. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk to my son about that, about leading one at Tuskegee. That's what I think he should be doing. He's a leader, damn it, lead. That's what you need to do. So that's something we need to do, or they need to do. They have to do this themselves, because as y'all keep saying, they don't listen to us anyway. So it means they have to do it. And Marion, they don't need a Pied Piper. They don't need that. That's the problem. We keep looking for a savior. We keep looking for a Messiah when the Messiah is in all of us. All of us have that. So we need to stop that. Other thing, something, Harriet, I went to say this to you earlier. What was your roommate? Anyway, listen, y'all. We need to keep engaging young people, whether we keep talking to them. That's what we need to do. Just keep talking to them. Keep saying things to them. We may not know that they are listening, but they are listening. My students, when I tell them not to use the N-word, they could be walking down the hall and one of their friends will say, they say, "Oh, hey, don't say it around Mr. Lively. He don't like that word." They will say that. Or if they slip up and say it, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lively." So if you don't think that they're listening, they are listening. They are listening. They want to be guided. They want it. So guide them. Also, the use of the N-word and all these other derogatory terms we call each other, and I think it was John talked about calling women females. Start with the young ones changing the culture. You know, a lot of us, I'm not one of them, but a lot of us have grandchildren. Teach your grandchildren what's going on. Teach your grandchild to be a leader. So when somebody says that around them, it's like, "Oh, you ain't supposed to say that. That's not a good word." Teach them that. While we're sitting there letting them look at our phones and play games on the phone, teach them some of that stuff. Because the culture is not going to change overnight, but it will change over time if we start doing what we're supposed to do. Stop letting the culture let others dictate our culture, and we create our new go back to our culture the way we're supposed to be, the way we've always been. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it will happen in a few years if we start now. So, having said that, Harriet, send me a message about what your roommate's name is. And I think it started with, I cannot remember her. She went ahead with you. Y'all graduated. I think that was your freshman year, 1982, 83 school year. I think this was. That was your freshman year at Georgia Southern. Anyway, y'all have a good week. I got an event to go to that starts in 42 minutes. Who are you talking about now, Vicky? Ask who? You talking about the people in or have you been? Oh, you talking about the guys that what's his name that Leonard was talking about? Hey, we can try. We can try. Worst they can say is no. Anyway, y'all have a good week. Please be safe. Enjoy yourself. And I'll talk to y'all. We'll talk to y'all hopefully, God willing, next week. Deuces.